which was led by Uncle Saji. So I would like to invite him to take the stand.
So good afternoon. Yeah, it's a joy once again to be with you all, and especially a crowd who loves the Lord, and a small group who really to minister among the young people. And I'm sure the Lord will bless our time together. The topic is on mentoring. Somehow this word has been used very common. But let us see some of the important things that what is there in mentoring. I'll just show a picture over here. What is happening over here? Okay. Anything else? What he is doing is watering the so that he is able to see the plant is also growing. Here what is happening? Sharing the knowledge, maybe the understanding to somebody who is very close. So it is one-to-one. Yeah. So here we see it is more on a one-to-one, something very closely. They are trying to water it, make sure that it grows also, and in that process also the growing of the knowledge, sharing of the knowledge, maybe of his experience. Knowledge means not necessarily only the good ones, but even the bad experiences also. Sometimes it happens, we cover so much that we only share the good things. Even in our testimonies also, we only share the successful testimonies. Failures, do we share? No. And most of the time, when we share our testimony also, before the event is happening or after the event is happening? Yeah? I don't know whether I am able to communicate. You are able to understand? Yes. Most of our testimonies, when we share, when something happens, after the event is happened or before the event is happened? After. So there are some good testimonies, there are some failures also. But I think we need to learn a lot of things from that. So we are talking about mentoring. Some of those things are, what is mentoring? Okay. Mentors quite often act as a coach or a counselor. But mentoring is beyond the above rule. Let me tell you at the beginning, we should be mentoring somebody, not monitoring somebody. Sometimes we monitor. But I think that is what is very important. So Christian mentoring is more concerned with the inner life of a So, discipling imparts basic Christian beliefs in new believers and train them in practice. That is what exactly. I know some of you might be already doing it, but this is just a reminder again what exactly we are supposed to do and how we should do also. So mentoring pays more attention to the being that lies behind the knowing and doing it is a long life process. It will not happen in a short time because we are also in a knowing state. We are not fully accomplished in all, what God expects from us. We are also into that process. So therefore, each time, it is an ongoing process and it's a lifelong process. You just listen over here. Some of those things, notes, this can be given to you, no problem. So mentoring is beyond teaching the truth of the Bible and integrate the knowledge into the mentee's life. It is not some sets of do's and don'ts alone, but helping the person so that he or she can take his own decisions. Okay? It is not the mentor who will say, okay, whom to marry, whom not to marry. Or this is a must. I don't know, in Northeast culture it may be different, but maybe in the Southern culture it is entirely different. Sometimes so much depends on the mentor that the mentor has to identify whom to marry. And sometimes if the mentor says this is a person and he or she finds little bit uncomfortable, then there is a clash of this thing also. We should allow the person to take in such a way. It is not monitoring or it is not dictating something. Okay? And so that the person will be able to integrate the knowledge. So mentoring means investing our lives in others. See, just now before the session also open home and all we talked about it. What is happening over there? It is already in that setting itself. Mentoring is happening. Okay. So it is investing our life in others, helping them to progress in life and ministry or in their career and fulfill their dreams or destinies. So this is something, you are, what happens when you invest money in the bank? Or in the hand? What happens when you invest your money in the bank? It accumulates, your returns are there. But if you spend, keeps on, there is no returns in that. So it is, you and I need to understand, we are investing our life so that one day or the other day, the person will be able to return it. It is just like 5 talents, 2 talents and 1 talent. You are investing in the lives of the students so that they will be able to take forward the gospel in their respective colleges or in the respective places where they are. So, it is just we are investing our life, especially in the mutual fund and all, who invest their money. They keep on checking also how the market is going on, so that they will be able to, put their money in the appropriate funds. They will direct the people to, transfer their money from this to that. So it is a very, very important thing. We need to check also. We need to be very close to that person. So the mentor must be selfless and love to see the mentees succeed. Okay. Here again, when we talked about, brother was talking about the EGF role and all. A lot of things are being covered over there. I'm just picking up a few more things over there. The selfless nature, unless we have that one, we will not be able to mentor. Or many of the private organizations also there are mentors and all. That is just to, for the performance part only. But here it is much beyond that. It is something to do with their inner life. It is something to do with the whole of the rest of their life. It is something to do with the kingdom values. So in this process, the mentor should not try to control nor find fault, but correcting carefully in the light of the Word of God. We need to help. This will only happen when we have a closer observation. Maybe as a doctor, you will go and visit the patient at least 3 times. If not doctor, they will ask the nurse to make sure their BP and other things to check it, so that the doctor will know, okay, while they are looking to the chart, okay, how the patient is doing. It is not like today, you check it and maybe after, the 2-3 days you are checking. No, it's a constant. So, the mentor and mentee, carefully in the light of the Word of God. So therefore, here plays a role that the mentor himself also needs to get inputs from the Word of God. Without getting inputs, there is no output. So this is something very, very important. So the mentor should be available at the time of need. Yesterday our sister was there, call came from the hospital, and she immediately had available. No excuse at that time. They are on duty. Yeah, there may be some time, we may be far, we can ask somebody to take care of the situations. But we need to make sure that we are available for them. So sometimes mentor may not be in the limelight, but is rewarding. Most of the people, even any of the, if you see huge actors and any other people also, they may be in the front, but behind somebody who is helping those people. And here we see, the person who was behind, but nobody knows. So shaping somebody, even in the cricket also, the coach may be sitting in the stadium or the football, but the players ultimately they win the match. They are being seen in the limelight in the newspapers and all. Coach may be there, but who is there in the front? So we should be ready to accept some of those things. Okay. So let us mentor our students. How to mentor our students? I don't know whether you have heard about micro prayer cells. UESI will be talking about this one. It is very difficult to mentor a big crowd. I don't know, when we used to talk about PBS and GBS, we talk about group Bible study, What should be the maximum number in a group Bible study? Just guess. 8, 9, 5, 11. Somebody said like this, if it is above 7, it is a crowd. If the number is above 7, it is a crowd. So good to break into small groups. So that people will be, that half an hour or 1 hour we invest, it will be very meaningful. So UESI for the few years, we've been emphasizing on this micro prayer cells, small groups, where a mentee and a mentors are there. The graduates who are the mentors can invest in the life of these few students. And how, I'll just try to explain. I don't know how far it may be possible in the Northeast context and all, but if it is possible, take it. Otherwise, you can think of something for the your own situation how to do that one. But however, this is in the southern states and all, this is working out. How to do that one? So we have 1:3 micro prayer cells as a strategy for the students, graduates, to meet regularly for prayer and fellowship. Small cells groups plays a vital role in the spiritual growth of a believer. 1:3, that means 1 graduate and 3 students. And out of these 3 students also, 1 believer student, in that cell, 1 believer student will be there, and his 2 more other friends. So that the believer students will be able to know how to build even the other students in the prayer cells. So micro prayer cells consist of a graduate who is a mentor and a senior student student who may be a committee member or not a committee member, but part of the fellowship regularly coming, okay? And then a junior student who may be mentee 2 and one more junior student who will be the mentee 3. So these 3 people, they meet regularly. Maybe you can decide once in a week or once in a fortnight, but at least regularly. How often, that you can decide. Many of the places they meet at least once in 3 days. They meet over now, of course, with all technology we have, but many places they used to meet physically also. Okay, one graduate will make sure that at his house or he will go to the college campus and will be able to spend time with these 3. Maybe half an hour. Maybe just inquiring some of, praying with those students over there. So the graduate in charge of the cell is responsible for the overall development, of the 3 students to be effective leaders. It is not just spending time, but making sure that they will become the effective leaders, in EU cell or in the college campuses where they are. So we need to know KYC. In the bank, they call it UESI. Know your customers. But at least UESI, we should know our cell numbers. And we should be knowing. We should be knowing all their details. Details not for any other sort of this thing. So that we will be able to pray meaningfully, we will be able to counsel meaningfully, and we will be able to engage with them also meaningfully. What are those areas? And just, at least we should be very clear with their names and the course that they are doing and the college where they are studying and where they are, staying also. It is very important to know where they stay and their numbers and how many brothers and sisters, parents, about mother, some of their date of birth, and even if they are saved, some of those aspects we should be aware of that one. Family background. Because without knowing all these things, even in a hospital, I believe when a patient comes in, the case history has been taken up very clearly. And they will get signed also from somebody who has brought this patient also. For various reasons. So it is very important even to know their church background. What is their belief and any other information. As far as possible, try to. The mentor should be, when we have to spend time in mentoring somebody, at least some of these things we should be able to do. If we don't know, I think we need to reorient ourselves around. Even which semester they are studying. Because we need to know that he may be in the 6th semester, he may be going out next year. Who is the successor? Or he may be in the first year. How long, in which committee we can think of. So some of these aspects are very important for us to know. Do we know all those things? What to do? Know the following need of a person and the mentor person in those areas. It is very important for us to know, what are his needs. Without knowing the need, Jesus also, when he asked, went to the well, to the Samaritan woman, he asked for water. And the need, that she had come to draw water over there. And the need of Peter, even John chapter 21, Jesus appeared to them after the resurrection. This portion is there, John chapter 21. How many of you have read the whole chapter? It's very important, very interesting to read those chapters. So Jesus appeared to, this is the 3rd time Jesus is appearing. And what was the need? Jesus asked, have you got any fish? And they said, no, whole night we worked. Jesus said, just put on your right side. So Jesus was aware of the need of the people. Many times are we aware of the need of our students who come to pray or with whom we spend time or not? They are physical needs. Some of them are physically having their own challenges. Some they have their own challenges, some maybe they be having their challenges with their family and other things and all. financial situations, hobbies, and even their psychological needs. So we as a graduate, we are considering the holistic, aspect of knowing the students, even their thought life. If we are not able to mentor them at a younger stage, it is very difficult to mentor them when they become old or when they grow. It is very difficult. So it is better their emotions and their mental stability. Some of these things are very important, for us to know. Do we take time? So mentor has a, important role. He needs to invest in time in knowing some of those things. It is not like you take your maybe a book and start recording, but in your discussions, we should be able to know some of those things so that we can frame meaningful, some of these things. Friends, let us move forward. Their education needs also. And what is their goal in education? Goal in which subject? Difficulty or lack of interest in subject? See, one student I remember, he came from South, and I was in UP. He was studying in Central University, in Ambedkar University. Suddenly he said, brother, God is guiding me to go to JNU. So he took admission for MSc, what was that, biotechnology or something like that. So first semester was over. In his quiet time, he said, God spoke to me, God will fulfill the desires of your heart. Okay? And we all try to, convince him, brother, do one thing. You study, finish your MSc over here, and after that you go for your, PhD or something for JNU and all. You finish. Because his parents were laborers. Very minimal daily wages workers. So somehow he got in Central University. The fees was also not much, and the graduates were also helping. But he said, brother, God said, I will fulfill the desires of your heart. So he was not able to listen to any one of us. We said almost 6 months is over. Now only, 1.5 years are only left. But he said very clearly, God has spoken to me. Then ultimately he left the college and he went back to his home to prepare for JNU. But next year also he could not get admission because some of his friends, his desire was that he will be able to, get admission in such college. But he could not. He wasted his time. 1 year has gone. Then somehow by God's grace, this faculty who was there teaching, history professor, he somehow, convinced the registrar and all, and the student was brought back into the college. So sometimes we need to understand, how. Then next time I went to his room. Then I was just informally thanking God. At least you could come back. You have lost a year and all. Just by default, I asked, brother, how is your quiet time and all? How do you do your quiet time and all? It was a very shocking and surprising for me. He opened his cupboard, and a small vessel was there. In that vessel, few chits were there. Chits means, you understood? Small slips were there. So every day he used to take one slip, and he used to take. In that every this slip, one promised word is written. And there he found one day that one, his desires, that, and that he was convinced that God is speaking to him. Was it a proper way of doing it then? Never we understood that. So we need to understand, how even their spiritual life they take decisions and all. So therefore it is very important for us to know what is their goal of education and which area they are good in studies and other things and all. What are the subjects, how they are doing their, even their quiet times also. Because they can jump into wrong decision makings and all. So systematic planning, whether students, do they plan systematically? If they don't plan in their student age, don't expect that great things when they become a graduate. They may not be able to give their time. Okay. So timetable for the studies, habits of writing points or running notes, whether some of these aspects are there or not, we need to help them. But graduates, when we talk such things, whether we do have that habits or not. If not, try to work on those things and all. Spiritual needs, about their quiet time, prayer life, temptations, personal evangelism, whether they are involved in that. See, we are not talking mentoring to some unknown student. We are talking and spending time or investing our time who are part of our cell groups, so that they will be effective in reaching out the other people. Yesterday, Brother Philip was, EGF is the backbone, no? Yeah, he said like that. So we are preparing the students so that the students will be able to reach out the other students. So we need to, engage with them, in formal or informal sittings also. It is not like, we will take a guideline and checklist like, no, okay, this is the things he is doing. No, not like that. But friends, let me tell you, if we are really into God's business, some of those things also should discipline our own lives. If we are not disciplined, we cannot expect. Attitude towards earning, spending and giving. Students should be able to learn to give even 5 rupees also. Then they have 100 rupees with them. They are not taught. It is very difficult. Let them give to the church. If they don't give to the UESI, also don't worry. I am talking in the Mizoram context. If they are giving to the church also, let us rejoice. At least they are giving to the Lord. Teach them. And even spending also. We are in a world which talks about spending. It's a very, very crazy world. Everywhere, there are ample of things which will come to us, showing them how to spend. Very few will talk about how to save. What was John Wesley's slogan? Earn as much as you can. Earn as much as you can. Give. Save as much as you can. And give as much as you can. It's not talking about spending. Earn as much as you can. Save as much as you can. And give as much as you can. Yes. So friends, it is very important. At a young age, if we don't, mentor them in these 3 areas of earning, spending and giving, even in their pocket money what they get. Even sometimes the graduates help students also. If we are not able to mentor in these areas, friends, they will be in a different tangent altogether. So it is good to inculcate some knowledge or share this knowledge while they are young. I am thankful, sister, you only read that passage. Know your Creator. See? Scripture interprets Scripture. Thank you. The spiritual needs in the church and even in our ministry needs. Okay? Whether they are aware of UESI mission and core values, we should not, first emphasize on only UESI mission and core values and all. Take a genuine interest in the life of the students. If you don't love them, there is no point in teaching all these core values and mission statements and all. That's the last. Okay? And then in modernizing the ministry. So if we really love them and really want them to grow, we should address their issues. So goal for the senior students in the academic year. See, this is some of the places. I am not saying don't download like this. In Andhra, at just a practice I am just telling. In Andhra and Telangana, this is the target given to one student. That one student, one believing student, will be able to preach the gospel to 50 students personally, not in the camps, by the way. Don't count them that they have brought them for an evangelistic camp. Personally, in a whole year, they will be able to share the good news, gospel to 50 students, and out of that they will be praying. These 50 students' names will be there with them, praying for them regularly. It is not like you share the gospel and then run away. No, they will be following it up also. The whole year. Out of 365 days, probably somebody is in touch with these students at least 100 days. And then they pray that they will be able to win 5 students for the Lord. And then out of that, 2 will become leaders. Suppose if we preach only 5, what we will get? 20. Okay? Jesus said the farmer went out to sow the seed. Some fell down in the rocky place, some in the thorny place, and some in the good ground. So, seed was good, but the people or the ground was not prepared. So many times these 50 people to whom we are sharing, sometimes their hearts may not be opened. Maybe hardened heart may be there. Maybe deceit may be there. Maybe some other things will be there. Worries will be there. So because of that, what you have shared or what we have shared, they would not have received it. There may be 5 people at least. And out of 5, we will be able to think of 2 people who can be trained as leaders in our committees or whatever it may be. So this is how we need to mentor. So mentoring is nothing other than investing our time. Some of the, it's a, I don't know, in mutual funds and all, they call it as a lockdown period. You invest some money, you cannot take it out for minimum 7 years. Don't expect any returns from the students the next year. Keep investing your time. Sometimes we are so, immediately you plant a seed ahead and we want the fruit next year. May not be. It takes time. They are also observing our lives. Brother shared about, what was that? Testimony? I forgot that one. Clean testimony. Students are also watching us, whether we are clean or not. So therefore, it's a very, very important. We are building people. We are not just mentoring. We are building people and creating leaders for the church and for the society. It may take time. Some of those places, maybe in your context, of course, many of them, that's not a problem. Everyone, you can share the gospel to anybody. But in other places and all, it's very difficult. But here you may have your own challenges. So therefore, let us invest our life and time in mentoring students through micro prayer sets. So maybe as whatever the graduates you have, maybe in Mizoram, you identify who are the people in your own local areas or in your districts with whom one believing student, and that student to identify another 2 more students. Try to meet them over Zoom or over telecom or physically. At least once in a month, if possible, meet physically. Other time, try to communicate and pray with them. Pray with them and, understand them and spend their time. Spend your time. No, I won't say spend, sorry, invest your time. And if that's the case, we'll be able to give a direction. We'll be able to train them and support them and motivate them, and that will build up the blessing. So, any insights more or any inputs or any questions you want to ask? Because you only know the actual context of Mizoram, the hilly terrain and all, and many other challenges. People are involved more with the church and other things and all. How to do that? Philip and others and all, you can, if you want to add a remark also. And towards the end, I would like to again bring to your notice about Mark chapter 21, some of those things about the mentoring aspect over there. I will put this, slide in the group, so that we can take it up. Anything you want to add?
I think a challenge is that parents, we have failed miserably in our state in terms of parenting. And that's why young children are left and for their own devices. And it's very difficult to control, to guide them since they started out in families where the parents do not teach properly. Under that context, with that background, our students, they tend not to obey too much. Very difficult. They're not willing also, and of course, to a great extent, the mentor himself is life also for our life. And the students, they find it so difficult to be submissive, to be obedient, to be on the receiving end of all these good instructions. And once they step into college, they feel that they are wise enough, they're strong enough, they feel that they understand, and you try to talk to them out of politeness, you might be able to reach into them very superficial level. The deeper issues of their life, you kind of try to establish connection. They always, most of the time, want to evade it. And so this is the thing that I've been seeing happening. It's unlike other parts of Northeast India. In that regard, I think we're even worse than other parts of Northeast India. Other parts of things, they're so lenient and students are willing to really be receiving. This is something that I find in our setting in Mizoram.
Anybody else want to add?
I'd like to share my problem on mentoring. One student approached me saying that, oh, I really wish you mentor me, and I was like, you're such an intelligent girl, like way above my league, okay, very intelligent, smart lady. How am I supposed to mentor such, such brilliant students, and when I don't have their caliber? So I feel very inadequate in that manner, and also another thing which I used to feel is, okay, the micro mentoring, that which you said is very interesting, but if I'm concentrating on those 3 students, would someone else feel left out? I mean, like they're in a group and, oh, Sister Pui is only calling them only, and like, will they feel left out in that manner? So that kind of, some thought is also there. And yeah, that how will I overcome such kind of thoughts that I have? That's the question.
Yeah, regarding, you said that the girl who was very intellectual. See, even when we talk about intelligence also, they may be intelligent in one area, may not be in every area. They may be intelligent in their academic area. Some have good, very sharp memory and many other things. But there may be some areas, at least, even praise God, even, we can learn something from them also. I mean, I look in that way. Okay, we can learn. And we can pray with us. And we can praise God for the intelligence that God has given to that person. In that way, as we go on talking and walking, probably there may be some areas also. And that's what I think in that way. The second one is, you said that there may be some people who maybe feel that I am left out. That, they are really considering only this. So I would say, that's what I said initially. much about the context. You can decide in your cell group, who will, seniors, who will mentor whom. So that division, maybe I said 1:3, maybe sometimes graduates may be only 5 and students may be 50, I'm just telling. So maybe the ratio you have to increase. Okay. So many other places they have enough graduates are also there. Here graduates may be less. So this mentoring should happen to those students who are part of our cell group. I'm not telling that, who are doing evangelism purpose. This is for the discipling purpose. Those who are already coming for our EU meetings or EU Bible studies. I can understand in your Northeast context, EU Bible studies means at least 100 people will come in one meeting. And maybe 5 graduates may be there. It may be a challenge. So in that also probably you have to look into it, how to work out whom to be mentored. We cannot do justice to everyone. But at least we can prayerfully pick up few people. And the seniors should decide. And together, it is not I individually something select, okay, I will select like this and I will select. No, together we can take a decision on that. So that there should not be overlapping.
Yeah, 2 years ago, I talked to one new boy, one new leader, that's exactly what to say. He is expressing his kind of frustration. He said, some graduates are only favoring that particular person all the time, and there are so many who feel let down, like that was a very eye-opening situation for me also.
So we have to balance that also. Philip, you want to add something? Philip and Salome, because you are worked in the other parts of the country also. So you can, regarding mentoring aspect.
My wife will say first.
They're both an insider now, as well as outsider. Insider, outsider perspective is a lot more helpful sometimes.
Right, I don't think that it's made it look so difficult, but I think now we start with this micro-carousel, as Priya had pointed out. Can we try listing out at least 8 students, each one of us? Like, maybe if you need the names, then we can contact with the student leaders, we will provide you with the names. And can we plan how to go ahead? Like, we can at least try out, if we fail also, then we can still think of some other way also. Like, and then can we start with this micro-carousel? Since we are few graduates and many students. When I say many students, like, even in one committee also, they will have sometimes 20, 21, 2 students with the office bearers and executive committee members. So let us take at least the hobbies at each unit and shall we try out. That's what I want to suggest. And so in that way, units, EGF can sit together and work out whom to take and things like that. I believe that is one way forward.
Here it's a.
Yeah.
This month is November, NEGF, for NEGF, it's a mentoring month.
Yes.
Very incidental.
Yes.
Okay, one is, really at one point, regarding the problem we're facing. You clearly know the resort of contact. So, pointing out, the students are expected to involve in getting this, the youth group of the judge. Okay? So, especially when we pass out class 12, or sometimes when we pass out class 10. So, they have to involve in getting other activities like running. So, they have to fill up their time in involving in such kind of activities in associations. So it's really very difficult to give their time, to spare their time for Bible reading and praying. Okay, this is a very big problem we are facing. So one can become mature without actually receiving Jesus or actually having Jesus. Few people I've seen many people like that.
Two things are there. One is catching the fish, one is making them into disciples. So where is the problem? Catching the fish or making them disciples? Hope you understood what I'm trying to say. One is to catch fish, catch them. The second is making them as. So where is the, where you find the problem? In the first stage or in the second stage?
I think more second stage.
No, what brother was mentioning, were you talking about the first stage or the second stage?
I think both are equally difficult in a way, but we can give it a try and make it a
Okay. No, if the first case is difficult, second is impossible. They're not getting any fish, no? So the whole night these disciples, they worked. Not a single fish they got. And Jesus is asking. That's what I wanted to come back to this John chapter 21. Shall we all take that one? Just a quick reading of that one and we will find out. 21, first onwards. I know our brother would have dealt in the evening devotions, but in the context of mentoring also, some of those aspects I would like to bring. After Jesus appeared again to his disciples by the Sea of Tiberias. See, I will keep on because the time is less. I won't be asking as I dealt in the other case, Luke chapter 15. But here, I am just wondering. Jesus appeared again. And this is not the first appearance, by the way. Okay? This is not the first appearance. Jesus appeared again. A mentor has to be with his disciple very often. Not once in a while. And Jesus, when he left, he said, I am giving you the Holy Spirit. Who will be there? Once in a while or always? See? So, appearing, I would say the first stage and the second stage which I said, no. See, we should be available for the students. Okay, first time he refused, second time he refused. What that lady who wanted justice, one incident is there, not the Bible.
persistent widow. Persistent widow.
Persistent widow. And ultimately the judge became fed up and granted her. Let us visit, talk to the students, persistently. Let us not quit. Let us not quit. Then only we will be able to learn. Okay? So, Jesus appeared again. That is one thing. So, our time with the students is not once in a while. Like, you went over there, you didn't find anything, come back. A thief will know, make sure that he will get something and he will go back. He will not just like that, okay, every rooms are closed, everything is there, police is there, let me go back. He will make sure. A terrorist will make sure that he will shoot and he will come back. And he is ready to die. But many times, we are not taking that seriously. And then, what happened to the mentor and mentee here? Simon Peter from Cana in Galilee, the son of Zebedee, and the two other disciples were together. Simon said, anyway, Jesus died and gone. Now, what to follow, whom to follow? Nothing is there. Simon is saying, verse 3, I am going to fish. Poor profession started. Nobody is there. Who will give him the bread and butter? Let me go back. And he is gone back. And then others also said, we will also come with you. This is again, when the mentor is not there, let me nothing. Early in the morning, Jesus stood by the stool, but the disciples did not recognize that it was Jesus. Many times, there are students may not recognize our importance of visiting them, traveling long distance, okay, investing our time in them. They may not realize that. And then, how did Jesus respond? If we, many times when students know after taking them to camps, investing our time, giving them food, open home and everything, the student कहें भैया आपकी तारीफ आपको if they ask, it's very sad, no? But here what did Jesus says, he called out to them, friends, have not you had any fish? He was not angry with them that they didn't, recognize me. But he says, friends. So again, conscious effort has been taken to bring them back. Okay? And then he also tells them, throw your net on this side. And they get a huge catch. And once they had a huge catch, and one of the disciples said, oh, it is the Lord. And soon he heard this one, Peter, jumped into the water. I'm not, because of the lack of time, the well has already, second well before it comes, I want to find out. He jumps into the water because he has removed his garments over there. But somehow they were being able to catch a huge catch of fish. And the nets, it was a surprise, it was a miracle that the nets were not torn apart. They had a large fish, but yet the net was not torn. And then what happened to the, Jesus, verse 12, come and have breakfast. In spite of the doubt, in spite of going backsliding, Jesus is preparing a breakfast. Mentor have to sometimes cross beyond all those things. And then it says, they had their breakfast and verse 14 it says this was the third time Jesus appeared to his disciples. How many times? All 3.5 years they were there with them, and this is the third time also. The disciples, maybe one day you can say disowned or have not found given that priority. And what is the simple question Jesus is asking? Do you? No, one word is there before that. Do you truly love me? It is not do you love me? Do you truly love me? And that's how it says, feed my, yes Lord, feed my lambs. Then again the second thing, do you truly love me? Friends, we need to ask some of these questions to ourselves and as well as to the mentors. Do you love the Lord or not? No other questions. Forget about asking them whether you have done your quiet time and things like that, previous, and forget about that one. Just ask simple things. Brother, could you spend time in prayer? Are you loving the Lord? Are you walking in the light? Simple things. And the third time when Jesus asked, no, he felt. Friends, our love towards the people, we should not be like, with an AK-47 asking them, oh, have you done this and that or not? Simple things. Be with them. Asking them simple. Showing our love towards them. And making them that they will be able to love them. They should not become disciples of you and me. I'm again emphasizing that. Many times they become our disciples rather than becoming the disciples of Lord Jesus Christ. They become the devotees of EU and EGF. Some of the people take pride, oh, I am so and so. In other places, may not be in the northeast, but at least in the southern states. But Jesus is asking. So, then towards the end, what happened? Verse 18 onwards, no? Jesus is telling a strange teaching to disciples. I tell you the truth, when you were younger, you dressed yourself and went where you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands and someone else will dress you and lead you where you do not want to go. Why Jesus said this one? Says Jesus said this to indicate the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. Friends, glorifying God, here the expectation is through the death and the kind of death. And the history says about it, no? Peter was also crucified. But later on Peter said, turn me upside down, because I am not worthy to be crucified as my master. So after telling this also what Jesus is telling, then he said to them, follow me. Friends, we need to make our mentees, including us, going to the cross, to the point of suffering and death. And if we run away from them, these situations, our people will also run away. So may the Lord help us, that we may be a people who will love the Lord. And then Peter is concerned now about another disciples. Jesus said, forget about that. That is my moderation. You don't worry about it, but you follow me. Are we ready to follow? And if that is the case, if we have understood the cost of following Jesus, definitely we will invest our time, which will bring fruits. May the Lord help us and bless us, so that we may take deep roots in the Word of God, so that we may be able to bear fruits, and many people will come into the saving knowledge.
Thank you so much. It was very insightful, and I really hope that we can impart whatever we've learned when we all go back. I just want to share something. I remember when I was in my UG, like when we started our EU, there was one brother from Kolkata EU who used to text me every day, like asking me whether I've had my quiet time. So, like I used to not. Since I could not tell any lies, I had to have my quiet time because I was like, I accounted myself to answer him, because I know that he'll be texting me and asking me whether I had my quiet time that day. So like it's very important that I think we really invest in someone's life and really, we really love them and want them to grow. So that was very insightful. So next we'll be having a short session or group discussion, which will be led by Brother Philip and Sister Salome. And I would like to call upon Brother Philip to take his time.
Right. So yes, Shreya has made it. I think now we have become very serious. So how to involve our lives in the life of the students. So that part, I think it will be very good that we leave this place with a commitment of, mentoring, which Salome has suggested, and which Brother Java as MEGF chair has put a lot of effort for the Easo EGF to come up with a list of students to mentor. So that way, I don't know whether Brother Java has a list. He may not be having the list with him for Easo EGF. If he has, fine. And the other EGFs from different units. If you don't have students, we will be able to help you. And at least the micro prayer if I truly love the Lord, and as Dr. Ramdhara also mentioned, if we have encountered Jesus, then that encountering starts with excitement, right? Assignment. So for our context as EGFs, who is shepherds are the graduates and the sheep are our students. So once again, if we call ourselves graduates, then there should be students with me. Otherwise, if I don't know the students and if there is no student whom I'm praying, that means I cannot call myself graduate and I'm not fit to call myself graduate. Because if there is a shepherd, there cannot be a shepherd without a sheep. There can be a shepherd only when there is a sheep. Likewise, we, to call ourselves as graduates, there should be at least 1, 2 students, in my heart, in a prayer. Always thinking about, what is that? Adidas? Adidas. Why? Because these are the students whom we are investing today. Definitely going to become a decision-making people for our society, for our church. So that way, in this time, I think it will be good. If you don't have students, if you don't know the students of your unit, no problem. We will be able to identify, we can give you. If you know, then if you have students, then at least 3 students, identifying 3 students and leave this conference and start mentoring. Or, like when the conference or the camp becomes so successful, one indication is we want to go back as soon as possible. We want to leave the campsite or the venue as earlier as possible. That is also one very good sign of a successful camp or conference. Why? Because we are so disturbed, we are so challenged and moved and motivated. Oh, when can I go and start, meeting, visiting them? Oh, when? Like John, when you ask John, hey John, you go and bring bread. He will just, before you finish saying, he will run. Something like that. So successful indication of the successful conference can be that. So, may I request my wife also to come here to the front? The good thing about married life, which I want to inspire Brother Kenneth also. The good thing about married life is when you are a little nervous, you call your wife. The wife can be your back support. So please get married soon. All right. In line with what I said and your share, you have anything to? Yes.
All right. Yes. Thank you, Leah. I think one of the basic questions, the primary question that we need to ask each one of ourselves is, am I a disciple? If I am a disciple, then disciple making is our priority number one, I believe so. So, am I a disciple? Am I a but if we really examine, many times we are not truly disciples. Right. When Jesus called the first disciples, it was leaving everything behind and follow. Leaving everything behind and follow. So we know what it means. Right? So I guess there is no option if we call ourselves as disciples, there is no other option but to be in the business of disciple making. And if we call ourselves graduates, we have to have new students as our mentors, mentees. So with that, can we group ourselves according to our units?
Yes.
Right? Maybe Siaha can sit this side. Oh, Siaha, sit this side. And Easo can sit at the back. Lunglei can sit this side. And those of us who are singles, like Sister Lisa from from high. You all can be here if you want to.
One group